for where me go, me never left for a dolly. I just said that I miss me at the Ram Dance Man. I ram it in a dance up in a nation.
13 musicians who became jokes in seconds. One moment they were on top. The next, they became punchlines. The music industry can build legends overnight and destroy them just as fast. Some never recovered. These are 15 musicians who became jokes in seconds. Number 15, Milli Vanilli.
Wanna spend my life with you.
The duo's Girl You Know It's True album sold 6 million copies in the United States alone. Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan collected a Grammy for Best New Artist in February 1990. They had the looks, the dance moves, and massive crossover hits. Then producer Frank Farian dropped the bomb that November. The duo hadn't sung a single note on their album. Session singers Charles Shaw, John Davis, and Brad Howell had performed every vocal track. The Grammy was returned on November 19, 1990, the first such surrender in Recording Academy history. Radio stations banned their music overnight. Lawsuits followed from fans demanding refunds. Pilatus and Morvan attempted a comeback singing for real, but nobody cared anymore. The damage was permanent and absolute. Rob Pilatus died from an accidental overdose on April 2, 1998 at 32. Their name became shorthand for fraud, permanently changing how the industry verified vocal performances.
Up on your skin, it lightens up my day, and that's also true. Together we're one, separated we're two.
Number 14, MC Hammer. Stanley Kirk Burrell exploded onto the scene with You Can't Touch This in 1990. His album, Please Hammer, Don't Hurt 'Em, went diamond, selling over 10 million copies domestically. He sampled Rick James, pioneered flashy music videos, and built a massive entourage. The signature parachute pants became iconic, then increasingly ridiculous. He bought a mansion, hired over 200 employees, and spent money like the success would never end. It did. Hammer filed for bankruptcy in 1996, reporting $13 million in debt. The mansion, the cars, the entourage, all vanished. Jokes about his financial collapse became ubiquitous in popular culture. Hammer time went from celebratory catchphrase to cautionary punchline. His spending habits became required reading for athletes and entertainers on what not to do. He attempted comebacks, found religion, and tried reality television. The man who once defined hip-hop excess became the definition of how fast fame disappears. Number 13, Vanilla Ice.
And you wanna step with this? Shape plays on the fade, slice like a ninja, cut like a razor blade.
Robert Van Winkle made history when Ice Ice Baby became the first hip-hop single to top the Billboard Hot 100 in November 1990. To the Extreme sold 15 million copies worldwide. Then the credibility questions started mounting. His biography claiming a tough Dallas upbringing fell apart under media scrutiny. The infamous sample from Queen and David Bowie's Under Pressure sparked legal battles. His carefully constructed street credentials evaporated almost overnight once journalists started digging. The notorious interview where he desperately claimed his bass line was different became instant comedy gold. Stories circulated about Suge Knight allegedly dangling him from a hotel balcony over royalty disputes.
And now, bro, to the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and watch a jump like a candle.
His manufactured tough guy image crumbled publicly. Vanilla Ice became shorthand for fake credibility in hip-hop culture for decades. He later embraced the joke, appeared in self-deprecating commercials, and reinvented himself as a home renovation television host. The rapper who topped every chart became a cautionary tale about authenticity.
Yeah, quick and nimble. I go crazy when I hear a cymbal and a hi-hat with a souped-up tempo.
Before we continue, which of these falls from grace surprised you the most? Did you own any of these albums back in the day? Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Number 12, Sinéad O'Connor.
That I do not have
The Irish singer's Nothing Compares to You dominated 1990, spending 4 weeks atop the Billboard Hot 100. Her second album, I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got, sold over 7 million copies worldwide. She earned 3 Grammy nominations and seemed destined for sustained superstardom.
Wouldn't have screamed, no, I can't let you go if the door wasn't closed.
Then came October 3rd, 1992. Performing a cappella on Saturday Night Live, she sang Bob Marley's War, then produced a photograph of Pope John Paul II and tore it to pieces. "Fight the real enemy," she declared into the camera. America's reaction was immediate and brutal. NBC received thousands of furious complaint calls overnight. 2 weeks later, at a Bob Dylan tribute concert at Madison Square Garden, she was booed off stage by the crowd. Radio stations refused her music. Career opportunities vanished completely. She was protesting child abuse in the Catholic Church, years before those scandals became public knowledge. That nuance didn't matter to audiences. One gesture, 8 seconds of television, destroyed her American career permanently. Number 11. Billy Ray Cyrus.
You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes apart.
Achy Breaky Heart became inescapable in May 1992. The single reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and his debut album, Some Gave All, sold 9 million copies in the United States. A line dance craze swept the nation, filling country bars and wedding receptions. Country music hadn't seen this kind of pop crossover success in years.
Tell my arms, go back to the fall, or you can tell my feet I hit the.
Then the mockery began, almost immediately. His signature mullet hairstyle, his one catchy song, and his perceived gimmickry made him an easy target. Nashville insiders dismissed him as a novelty act riding a dance fad. Late-night comedians had endless material from his earnest performances.
If you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, they might blow up, kill this man.
The mullet became punchline shorthand for dated rural style throughout the decade. Follow-up singles failed to match his debut success. For years, Cyrus represented everything critics hated about manufactured country pop crossovers. His daughter Miley's success in the 2000s gave him an unexpected career renaissance, but the jokes about Achy Breaky Heart never stopped entirely.
You can tell my arms, go back to the fall, or you can tell my feet I hit the.
Number 10. Eddie Murphy. The biggest comedy star of the 1980s decided he could sing. Murphy released Party All the Time in 1985, produced by Rick James at his commercial peak. Shockingly, the synth-heavy single reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. But critical reception was absolutely merciless from day one.
Girl, I can't understand it. Why you wanna hurt me?
Reviews universally called it a celebrity vanity project with minimal artistic merit. Murphy's thin vocals over James's slick production became easy fodder for anyone questioning celebrity musical ambitions. Party All the Time became the go-to example of celebrities who shouldn't make music for the next 2 decades. His album, How Could It Be, went gold, but the mockery completely overshadowed any commercial success. The song became ironic nostalgia, sampled and referenced in comedy shows seeking easy laughs. Murphy himself rarely acknowledged his music career afterward in interviews. The man who dominated Beverly Hills Cop and Saturday Night Live became the definitive cautionary tale about staying in your lane.
I seen you in clubs, just hanging out and dancing.
We're halfway through and the stories only get wilder. Which musician's downfall do you remember most vividly from living through it? Let us know in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed for more music history deep dives. Number 9. Marky Mark. Before Mark Wahlberg became an Oscar-nominated actor, he was Marky Mark. His 1991 single Good Vibrations with Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Calvin Klein underwear advertisements made him a teen sensation overnight. The music was produced by his brother Donnie's New Kids on the Block collaborators, immediately raising authenticity questions. He had the abs, he had the attitude, and he had exactly one major hit.
T-G-I-E, my body is healthy, my rhymes make me wealthy, and my Pokemon tell me to bring you a show.
The manufactured nature of his hip-hop persona invited skepticism from the start. As his acting career developed through the 1990s, the Marky Mark era became increasingly embarrassing material. Film critics couldn't resist mentioning his musical past in reviews. Talk show hosts played old clips to his visible discomfort for years.
School cheerleader, pom-poms and bottle socks, and no girl was sweeter. Come prom time, everybody was on a line.
Good Vibrations became ironic party music for anyone seeking easy nostalgia laughs. The harder he tried establishing himself as a serious dramatic actor, the more his funky bunch past haunted every profile written about him.
Figure out a faster way to make money. Before you know it, he's a rich man. Gold on every finger of his hand.
Number 8. Right Said Fred.
Too sexy for my shirt, too sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts.
Richard and Fred Fairbrass reached number 1 in the United States with I'm Too Sexy in early 1992. The shirtless British brothers had a novelty hit that dominated radio airplay and MTV programming simultaneously. The song was catchy, absurd, and completely impossible to take seriously as legitimate artistic expression. That was partly intentional. They were in on the joke from conception, but audiences couldn't tell where self-awareness ended and genuine ridiculousness began.
Too sexy for the land, too sexy for the land, New York and Jump.
Follow-up singles went absolutely nowhere on the charts. The Fairbrass brothers became textbook one-hit wonder examples in every music retrospective. I'm Too Sexy appeared in parody countdowns, nostalgia compilations, and comedy sketches for decades. Their name itself became a punchline requiring no additional context.
Hey, Dippy, I'm your Superman. I'll explain. You're my
The bald heads, the flexing, the repetitive lyrics, all provided endless mockery material. They continued making music for decades, mostly ignored by mainstream audiences. Their one hit lived on in commercials and wedding receptions, always played for laughs. Number 7. Terence Trent D'Arby. His 1987 debut, Introducing the Hardline. According to Terence Trent D'Arby, sold 12 million copies worldwide and earned widespread critical acclaim. Reviews praised his exceptional voice, his songwriting ambition, his seemingly unlimited potential.
Bandits stealing time underneath the sycamore tree.
Then he opened his mouth in interviews. D'Arby publicly claimed his debut was better than Sgt. Pepper. He compared himself to Prince and Michael Jackson as their creative equal without hesitation. The breathtaking arrogance alienated journalists, industry insiders, and audiences who had championed him. Neither Fish Nor Flesh arrived in 1989 and flopped catastrophically, barely reaching 500,000 copies sold. Critics who had praised his debut now savaged him mercilessly for pretension and self-importance. The fall was swift and absolutely merciless in its thoroughness. D'Arby never recovered his commercial momentum or critical goodwill. He later changed his name to Sananda Maitreya and relocated to Italy permanently. The man who declared himself the future of popular music became a cautionary tale about hubris and devastating sophomore slumps. Before we reveal the top 5, we have to ask, do you remember any of these songs from when they first dropped? Share your memories in the comments below. Number 6. Gerardo.
Wow. Now there's not a woman that can handle a man like me. That's why I juggle 2 or 3. I ain't one.
Gerardo Mejia hit number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 with Rico Suave in 1991. The Ecuadorian singer created the ultimate Latin lover parody without intending any irony whatsoever. Open silk shirt, rose clenched dramatically between teeth, carefully sculpted chest hair on full display. The image was pure, concentrated cheeseball from the opening frame. MTV put the video in heavy rotation throughout the summer. For one brief moment, he seemed like a genuine Latin crossover star with staying power. Rico Suave became instant shorthand for unintentional comedy in music videos. His completely earnest delivery, made the exaggerated machismo even funnier to American audiences. Follow-up singles disappeared without any chart trace. Gerardo wisely pivoted to working behind the scenes as an A&R executive at Interscope Records, actually helping discover and develop artists like Enrique Iglesias. His own performing career was finished completely. One song, one image, one moment of peak cheese immortalized him as a permanent 1990s punchline. Now, number 5, Color Me Bad. I Wanna Sex You Up reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1991, becoming one of the year's defining singles. The Oklahoma Quartet pioneered new jack swing balladry with tight harmonies and explicitly suggestive lyrics. They had the carefully coordinated bowl cuts, the meticulously groomed soul patches, the matching designer outfits. For exactly one calendar year, they seemed like credible R&B artists with genuine commercial potential. Their debut album, CMB, went double platinum quickly. By 1993, their commercial momentum had collapsed entirely. Subsequent albums flopped without exception. The earnest seduction ballads that once generated genuine excitement now seemed painfully ridiculous as musical tastes evolved. Their entire image aged catastrophically as fashion trends shifted away from early 90s aesthetics. The band name, the synchronized hair, the overwhelming sincerity, all transformed into pure cringe material. Color Me Bad dissolved into nostalgia act purgatory, performing I Wanna Sex You Up at state fairs and 90s revival package tours indefinitely. Number 4, Snow.
Come in a deep low down Fedora. Rennick a part road through my window, so they put me in the back of the car at the station.
Darren O'Brien, a white Canadian reggae artist from Toronto, topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 7 consecutive weeks in 1993 with Informer. The single became one of the best-selling songs of the year and a genuine cultural phenomenon. There was one significant problem. Virtually nobody could understand what he was actually singing. The rapid-fire patois delivery rendered lyrics completely incomprehensible without consulting. A lyric sheet, "Licky Boom Boom Down," became a cultural meme before that terminology existed.
Listen for me, you better listen for me now. Bring me the rubber, the microphone, and the rock on steady. You sit down in my stomach, at the art.
A white guy from suburban Toronto performing authentic Jamaican reggae raised immediate credibility questions from music critics and reggae purists. Cultural appropriation accusations, though that specific phrase wasn't yet common, were fierce and unrelenting. His follow-up singles vanished from charts entirely. Snow became the textbook definition of a novelty one-hit wonder in music history discussions. He continued recording for years with minimal commercial success. Informer remained his permanent legacy, a song everyone remembered and nobody fully understood. We're almost at the end. These final 3 stories are some of the wildest celebrity music disasters ever. Which celebrity music career do you remember mocking back in the day? Tell us in the comments. Number 3, Bruce Willis.
And the streets get so hot, wish your tired feet were fireproof.
Moonlighting made Bruce Willis a beloved television star. Die Hard transformed him into a genuine movie, star and action icon. Then he decided he was also a blues singer, deserving of a recording career. The return of Bruno arrived in 1987, featuring Willis performing R&B standards and soul covers with complete seriousness. His version of Respect Yourself reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. The album went platinum based largely on his celebrity. Commercially, it actually worked beyond expectations. Reviews absolutely savaged the album as celebrity ego run completely amok. Willis performing classic Motown standards struck critics as fundamentally absurd and borderline offensive to the originals. His harmonica playing was mocked relentlessly in every review. The Bruno character, Willis's mysterious alter ego created specifically for the project, made everything seem even more ridiculous and self-indulgent. A second album followed to complete commercial silence and critical dismissal. The action hero who stopped terrorists at Nakatomi Plaza couldn't survive music critics.
Needle in my hand, but I ain't got to.
Number 2. Don Johnson. Miami Vice made Don Johnson the coolest man on American television throughout the mid-1980s. In 1986, he leveraged that considerable stardom into a music career with the album Heartbeat. The title track reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, proving his fan base would follow him anywhere. The album went platinum quickly based on his television popularity. Johnson sang earnest power ballads with the same brooding intensity he brought to fighting drug dealers on screen. The same pastel suits and designer stubble that worked perfectly on screen seemed completely absurd in his music videos. His dramatically serious vocal deliveries invited immediate parody from comedians. Critics universally dismissed the album as a transparent vanity project exploiting his television fame. Follow-up releases flopped without any chart presence. By 1990, the Johnson music career was completely finished. He became the permanent template for actor-turned-singers who absolutely shouldn't have attempted the crossover. Crockett should have stuck exclusively to catching criminals. Number 1. Pat Boone.
The roof is leaking like a strainer. There's loads of roaches in the hall.
For 4 decades, Pat Boone represented wholesome American family entertainment at its most conservative. The clean-cut crooner sold 45 million records covering Little Richard and Fat's domino hits for white mainstream audiences in the 1950s. He starred in family-friendly films and wrote Christian inspirational books. He was a devout conservative spokesperson for traditional values. Then, in 1997, at 63 years old, he released In a Metal Mood No More, Mr. Nice Guy. The album featured big band arrangements of Metallica, Ozzy Osbourne, Dio, and Van Halen. He wore leather jackets and chains on the album cover.
To be such a sweet, sweet thing till they got a hold of me.
The reaction was absolutely nuclear from every direction. Metal fans were horrified by the sanitized arrangements. His loyal Christian conservative fan base was appalled by the imagery and song choices. Trinity Broadcasting Network suspended him immediately. His American Music Awards appearance in full leather sparked nationwide outrage and mockery. Boone insisted the project was meant as affectionate tribute with intentional humor. Nobody on either side accepted that explanation. Both audiences rejected him completely and simultaneously. The man who once sanitized rock and roll for 1950s America tried embracing it 4 decades later and became the ultimate punchline.